You've just announced a very important report on the situation in Lebanon environmentally. What is so important that we should all know about?
So I have been following the emissions of diesel generators since 2010. And we have been always raising the alarm and saying that those emissions are toxic. However, when we did the last study in 2020 to 2023, we found that the emissions have increased by 100-fold. 100%.
100-fold.
This means that the toxins that we are inhaling, and they are deposited on our lungs and our hearts and in the blood streams are doubled, or they have doubled. Okay, what was really important in this study is that we were able to compare the numbers to previous studies, and that's one of the strengths of this study. So we were able to compare it to 2017, 2015, and 2010.
In the study, were you able to identify an increase in illnesses among people?
I'm not an epidemiologist, however, we calculated the cancer risk, and based on the carcinogens that we have measured, and the cancer risk has increased since 2017 by 53%. And that was very, very alarming. And so the whole world paid attention to this study. It has been covered by so many journals, locally and internationally, just to say enough is enough. We cannot continue inhaling those carcinogens anymore.
Are there any comparisons globally to this kind of escalation in carcinogens in the air?
There is no such a thing as mini power plants in between buildings in the whole world, except in emerging cities, war emerging cities. Right. This is what we call them. Damascus is like us, Iraq is like us, especially Baghdad. So these war emerging cities are subsidizing or substituting a power plant and infrastructure by mini power plants in between buildings. And this creates not only a health problems in terms of carcinogens, it also creates a very major safety risk, because those diesel generators heat up during the summer and they are prone to incidents of fires. In fact, the World Bank has reported that there is between 200 and 220 incidents of fires every year from diesel generators.
Around the world or in Lebanon?
In Lebanon. So what we're trying to do, what we're saying, okay, although this sector is outside the law, it should not be here, but since it is a matter, de facto, we have to deal with it. That's why we're saying if we have to deal with it, at least you have to apply the decrees that have been put out by the Ministry of Environment, regulating this sector just a little bit by asking the diesel generators owners to put filters and to put insulation around the diesel generators for noise, and also make sure that they have enough extinguishers in case of fire.
في تقرير للبنك الدولي بيقول إنه أصحاب الموتورات بيعملوا بين $20,000 وال$200,000 بالسنة بالشهر، حسب قد ايه عندهم موتورات موجوده. يعني اللي عنده موتور واحد 500 كفاءه بيعمل حوالي $20,000 بالشهر، واللي عنده كذا موتور عدد كبير من الموتورات بيوصل معاشه $200,000 بالشهر. معناتها هول الجماعه مبسوطين باللي موجود، واذا واحد قال لهم انه لازم تحطوا كاتم للصوت، لازم تحطوا فلتر، لازم تنظفوا حواليكم، ببلشوا يهددوا يا بنقطع لكم الكهرباء يا بتسكتوا. نحن هيدي الابتزاز وهيدي الطريقة بالتعامل معنا ما رح نسكت، ونحن رح ندل على تواصل مع كل الوزارات حتى تتحمل مسؤوليتها وتشتغل شغلها.
How much support do you have within the Parliament for this initiative, for you to put pressure on the owners, so to speak, or the government to implement laws?
I am so happy to say that I can hear everyone talking about the study everywhere, even in the Parliament. And so we will take measures, escalating measures, if the executive body, that means the ministers concerned, are not going to help us in order to regulate those filters.
And what those measures are?
We sent letters to the Muhafiz of Beirut, Muhafiz Jabal Lebanon. We received complaints from people. We were the interlocutors between the people and the head of municipalities and the councils. That's one. We wrote letters to the Minister of Environment, to the Minister of Water and Energy, and to the Minister of Interior, because they are the ones concerned. And today I heard that there is also an adulteration with the meters. I'm going to also be coordinating with the Minister of Economy.
What do you mean by an adulteration? Manipulation?
Manipulation, exactly.
Right.
So there is manipulation with the meters.
عدادات المولدات الكهربائية المنتشرة مثل السرطانات بين أحياء بيروت واللي عملت عنهم دكتور نجاة بعتقد بتلوثهم وبتبعاتهم يعني أكثر من مؤتمر صحافي ومستمرة. اليوم فضيحة إضافية إلها علاقة كيف عم بيسرقوا جيوب اللبنانيين تقريبا من كل بيت. طيب تتذكروا كلكم حملة العدادات وبدنا نحط عدادات وحطينا عدادات كتير منيح. قلنا نوعا ما صار في نوع من الرقابة. اليوم بنكتشف انه هيدي العدادات عدادات ملعوب فيها ومضروبة. مضروبة وملعوب فيها لدرجة انها تقدر تغش وتقدر تسرق من بيوت الناس استهلاك أكثر ل 60% من الاستهلاك الحقيقي، يعني فوترة أعلى بتوصل ل 60%.
What are the other measures that you can take to put pressure on them?
We're talking also to the judiciary body, because they have the prerogative to go down on the streets and make sure that the diesel generators owners comply with the decrees. So we're coordinating with them as well. And we have a plan to go to the international community as well.
The owners of the diesel generators, let's not kid ourselves, are the warlords that still control this country today.
Yes.
And they are the ones that are preventing real further improvement, and the country is in a state of chaos because of that leadership and the status quo that they continue to maintain. So how do you propose, when they own, each warlord owns an area across Beirut, mostly the major city, what is the real likelihood of having any cut through, having any impact on those people?
They have to. This time, we're putting this study in their face, and we're also sending letters to the ministers and saying, if you don't act, you're committing a crime. Second, these people, warlords, like you said, they care so much about their image outside Lebanon. And what we will do will tarnish this image by taking this study that is going to be approved by the scientific community at large, because we have submitted also for a scientific publication, and we're gonna take it to UNFCCC, IPCC, all the UN agencies where they call upon them to take actions, especially that this is also contributing to the climate change and to the heating of the city because of the emission of greenhouse gases and everything. So we know we have a plan.
As a UNESCO laureate, your voice in this environment is very credible. It's very authoritative. So I think the international community will really pay attention to you, and thankfully your name and signature on this report and study is very credible for Lebanon.
Thank you, Daisy.